just yesterday, all of a sudden Kliff Kingsbury was with terms to become who was it? Who was the offensive coordinator he was going to be?
He had a falling out with.
He had a contract agreement with someone, right? Yesterday, like he had come to terms, and all of a sudden it kind of fell through the roof, and everyone's like, "Oh, nope, it didn't work out." The Raiders. Thank you.
Yeah.
He had an agreement with the Raiders to be the next head coach or the next offensive coordinator, and then all of a sudden it was like, "Nope, doesn't work anymore." And then the Commanders, out of left field, just out of nowhere, they're like, "We'll hire him. We'll take him. He'll be our next offensive coordinator." And then Eric Bieniemy is going, I already have that position, right? Like and so they, at one point yesterday, I shit you not, they had 2 offensive coordinators on their like coaching roster. They were just like, yeah, these 2 guys are both our offensive coordinator. And I was like, did you guys forget that you had Eric Bieniemy? And then
So
like after they hired,
out now, right? He's
yeah,
out.
after they hired Kingsbury, they're like, by the way, you can go. Which I don't understand. That dude's a genius. I love Eric Bieniemy. I love what he does and how he operates. Like, I don't understand that move at all. The only thing that it makes sense for is that they're going to try and make a push for Caleb Williams because Kliff and them have history.
Well,
That's
Caleb
the
did take the
sense.
photoshopped version of Kingsbury on his Instagram, and he I don't know if he did it or somebody else, but they even had the Commanders logo on Kingsbury's.
Yep, and now you've got.
Zip.
I mean, and now like you hear all the things. I think Colin Cowherd was like, "Hey, Caleb Williams' camp does not want to be in Chicago," and then they let it sit out there for like 24 hours before his camp came back and was like, "No, we never said that, right? We never. That's nothing we ever said." Like, there's a lot going on, and if the Commanders are going to give up the farm to move up to 1, because Chicago's going to ask for the farm, if they want to move up, it'll be very interesting what that looks like.
I'll say this: if you're Chicago, I would do this for 2 reasons. Number one, you can never be 100% sure between if they're, especially this year, there's Drake May and there's Caleb Williams, and everyone's going to have opinions, but John Elway whiffed on a bunch of quarterbacks. Like John Lynch and the 49ers traded a boatload of picks because Trey Lance was their guy, and it turns out that Purdy was 7 rounds there, right? You can never be so sure that you wouldn't take that trade if you're the Bears. If they want to give me 2 or 3 picks, and I'll just take whoever's left over. I'm doing it if I'm Chicago.
There's a part of me that sees the vision that the Bears may want to do of like, hey, we'll roll with Fields for 1 more year, right? He's still on a rookie contract. He's still kind of cheap. Let's roll with Fields for 1 more year and accumulate just a massive ton of picks.
But you could still take Drake May number 2 if you swapped.
But no. But you could still take Drake May number 2. You could take Marvin Harrison, but you could get another first rounder next year. You could probably get a second rounder in 24, maybe 25 or 25, 26 draft. Like,
you could take JJ McCarthy in the 2nd round.
Maybe. But like, I think the Bears have a plan of like, I don't know if they're not sold or what, but I can definitely see them with the talks. Like, and if the Commanders don't want to do it, I could see them doing it with someone else. Like, I could see them trading with another team like that could come. Dude, draft weekend is going to be nuts because you never know who's going to come from the rafters and be like, we want Caleb Williams.
And hell,
like,
it happened in like March last year, right? Didn't that trade, the Panthers trade happen during free agency, right?
Like, and that's why I think the Commanders are feeling the hot seat a little bit. Like, if they want to do this, they need to start the trade talks probably at the Combine. Right? Like, hey, this is what we're thinking. Let's get this trade going, because I guarantee you there's more people than we know that are sitting there going, I'll trade for the number 1 spot if it means I can get Caleb Williams. Like, it's not just the Commanders. And the Commanders sitting there going, do we roll the dice and sit at 2 and hope that they do something else? And that, like, are we that sold on Drake May, or are we willing to sell the farm and spin ourselves up that Caleb Williams is the only option?
Well, the minute you went and got Kliff Kingsbury, I think everything was out the window. Like, you were literally like, we'll sell the farm to get him because of this relationship. And I think people would see that and be like, totally cool with that. They've known each other for a long time. They can play well together. Dan Quinn's going to go out and take care of the defense. The problem becomes, in my opinion, is I don't think that the Bears want to get rid of Justin Fields. And if they don't get rid of him, then you don't need to really,
you don't need to take a quarterback in the first round if you don't want to get
Well, they're not, but they would go for like Marvin Harrison Jr. They would go for one of the toppest talents and be like, listen, we are going to keep Justin Fields, which I think they're doing, because I think they would have already come out and been like, listen, we're going to part ways. We're going to make this easy for everybody.
No. You don't give away your leverage like that. Are you kidding me? You have leverage right now against everyone in the league. They don't know what you're doing. You don't come out publicly and say that.
I stopped to think more about there's a player involved in this, and you have to think about how many people am I pissing off by sitting on this leverage. Like, I get it. There is leverage. People don't know what you're doing, but you're also dealing with a player that's like, you better tell me what the fuck you're doing with me. Like, I don't
Why?
care what you're.
Why?
Because
he's under contract.
Because I'd
You're
like
under
to go out and
contract.
get something else going. If something's gonna go crazy, I'd like to get this trade going. Like you have to
Is
think.
he good enough to warrant that level of?
I don't even think it's that. I think it's more. That's just the respect side of the business. Like there's very little respect shown to
What
us, and
part
that's
of
one of the
respect
ones.
do you think is shown to us, dude?
That's what I
world
just
did
said.
you
There's
live
very
in?
little.
What world did you live
because
in for
I
10
sat
years?
in the room one time when they were like, "We're going to cut this guy early and give him a chance to go out and find another team," and I was like, "Holy shit!" That's the only time I've ever heard
But
somebody be
they're not
that
going to
nice.
cut him. If
They're
they
gonna
They're
trade
not.
him,
I know,
they'll
but
trade him.
trade. They're going to go to him and be like, "Get a trade going, dude. Where do you want to go? Figure it out. Go ahead."
I don't.
Or
think
they're
he
going to
gets
say, "Hey,
decide
you're."
that.
He doesn't have a decision. He doesn't have a no trade clause. The only time a player's involved in that decision if he has a no trade clause. He is at full mercy of the Chicago Bears.
He's also not Peyton Manning from 2012. Like,
I'm not saying
you
he
know,
is. I'm just saying that
I
sometimes you
agree
have to
with you.
stop
I
and be
wish
like,
that- I
"This is
wish you would
business."
get- You would. I wish you would get that respect, but you and I both know that's not how this.
No, I agree 100%. But I just don't think he's. I think they're going to roll with him another year, like you said. They're going to be like, he's under a rookie contract. He's going to come
Build
out. He's
a
going to
team.
do this. Yeah,
Build a
and
team
they're-
around him, and then if you don't like what he did, you can go buy one next year in free agency.
But they're
because
still
you
in a
got
good
cap room.
position because you can get a great player for Justin Fields to help him. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. would be phenomenal ad for
Agreed.
their team.
You
And
put
that's why
DJ
I'm
Moore and Marvin Harrison together, and then Cole
Dude.
Kmet coming on. I agree, Booney. I'm with you.
That's why I don't see them trading it to anyone. That's why I see them going, no, listen, we actually have a real thing going here, and we think that our quarterback with this added player could be a great
You
addition
think
for
you
us.
take Marvin at 1?
I
No,
think.
no.
That's being mocked a
That's-
lot right now.
No,
Dude.
dude. If you
Why?
have
I'm
the
with
one
Jay. You
spot and
trade,
you're not
trade
gonna
out, you should trade out.
if you're going to plan on taking a receiver at 1, trade out, dude. Draft at 5, draft at 6. The receivers will still be there. There's the top end receivers in this class are incredible.
I agree
Like
with
if that's your plan, you don't take a receiver at 1, dude. You trade that for picks, and then you take your receiver 5-7 picks later.
Hey, from the Commander standpoint, real quick. So they're sitting here. They've got the number 2 pick. They have right now, according to Over the Cap, the most cap space of any team going into free
It's
agency.
crazy.
They have $73 million in cap space, 62.5 in effective cap space. So that's what they can actually spend. And you can, by the way, you can like finagle those contracts with signing bonuses
And all the picks
pick
they
money
got
in the
for
future.
Chase Young and they got for Sweat, right? Like they got picks too.
How quickly can they? I mean, that's been a laughing stock franchise for 2.5 decades. Dan Snyder's gone. They've got a new. Dan Quinn has been to a Super Bowl before, right? You've got some adults in the room, overseeing the organization. How quickly can the Commanders? And by the way, the Eagles and Cowboys feel a little bit rickety right now after the way their seasons ended.
Yeah.
Giants too.
Giants.
I mean, I think I don't necessarily know if it's going to be a 1-year turnaround, but if you draft well and you hit players that can contribute with all these picks that they have, and you have the money to go sign whatever you deem priority number 1 in free agency, like they could definitely be a close to like over 500 by 1 or 2 games next year.
Yeah.
Like I can see that. I don't think they're going to all of a sudden be like the 12-win team, but I can definitely see them coming back and being a wild card type of battle for the wild card spot next year. If they hit on their picks, like Tampa Bay did when
You gotta have a
Tom Brady was
quarterback.
there.
Yeah.
But
It's
you have
good-
to have a trigger
it's
man.
going
You
to.
have to have
Yeah.
the trigger man.
Yeah.
That's priority number 1.
It's going to
It'll
be great
interesting
when
to watch. I can't
two North
wait to
Carolina
follow that.
quarterbacks are battling it out in camp next year, right? Sam Howell and Drake May. They were just hanging out at I think at the basketball game the other day.
Yep.